Coming up next, Spokane Public Schools Board of Directors and Superintendent take your questions on educating Spokane. Welcome to Educating Spokane. I'm Taryn Roloff. Tonight, our Board of Directors is taking questions about Spokane Public Schools. If you have a question, we hope you'll call the number on your screen or email or text us at es@ksps.org. We encourage you to share your name and phone number in case we need to get back to you if time runs short. Our guests from the Board of Directors are President Bob Douthit,
Taryn.
Director Rocky Trapedi,
Hi, Taryn.
Director Jeff Bierman,
Good evening.
and Superintendent of Spokane Public Schools, Dr. Nancy Stoll.
Hi, Taryn.
Welcome to all of you.
Thanks.
And this year we are talking about the district work plan to kick off our shows. And I know you are well aware of the main goal of the plan, but maybe you'd like to share with our audience a little bit about that and then some of the other elements of the work plan.
Well, certainly one of the overarching goal for this year's work plan is really focused around where we're setting our targets for students throughout the district, and that is making an emphasis on college career ready at the end. And it's really important to have that end goal in mind as you're developing everything down throughout, that everything is building towards an adequate goal, which is having all of our graduates prepared for college career post high school options.
And that really means we have to make sure that the rigor of the curriculum and the coursework then is at a level that adequately prepares students to go into post-secondary without need for remediation, especially in mathematics and English language arts.
And one of our critical emphasis this year is, the way it's been stated throughout the district, is to end social promotion in middle school. Not that anyone here at this table ever would have suggested that social promotion was a good thing in middle school, but this year there's a renewed effort to ensure that students develop the appropriate work ethic so that they hit high school ready to achieve, as opposed to the way it's been in recent years.
And last month we did spend a bit of time talking about middle school, and in fact all of our shows are online, so if folks would like to hear a little bit more about that topic, they can certainly go to our website at spokaneschools.org and click on our video resources. So tonight, certainly you can talk about any elements of that you want to, but we do have a video to show our audience about the upcoming levy, because that is one of, I know, your goals in the work plan.
And it really is an important topic to talk about, not only timely, but with the overall goal of the work plan and several other components, the middle school work, mathematics, science, the elementary literacy emphasis. We can't do any of that work without funding, and the levy's where we're going to hopefully receive the funding we need to be able to provide those programs to get our students to that career and college-ready goal.
And the levy now is about, what, a quarter of
Yeah.
the total district budget.
And I was going to say, to put that in perspective, when I first joined the board, it was about 15% of our budget.
Now it's almost 25.
Exactly, and that's how critical it is to the community, that if our community expects our district to do its job within the schools, we desperately need the passage of the levy in order to do the work. That's mostly due to the reduced state funding that we've received for basic education over the last few years. For anyone who's ever watched this show before, they've heard me, moan about and complain about the fact that we have to sue the state in order to get funding. And the passage of the levy is absolutely critical this time around, because the percentage of our budget, as Nancy just said, is all the way up to 25%.
All right. So we'll go ahead and watch a little bit of that and come back to some questions, hopefully. So do call us.
The economic times may be difficult, but we cannot let it affect our children's future.
Hello, I'm Teresa Lukens. Spokane has a long history of valuing public education and funding local schools. Communities across Washington and the entire United States are asking more of public education than is currently being funded by the states.
Well, in the short term, I think the biggest challenge is funding. We have a state that's got a budget problem. The federal government isn't much better, and that all comes downhill.
This February, Spokane Public Schools will be asking voters to consider renewing a 3-year educational program maintenance and operation levy. The current levy will expire at the end of 2012, and this replacement levy will ensure that funding continues in our classrooms.
The levy does pay for everything that the state doesn't consider basic education, which would surprise a lot of people. Things like music, art, foreign language, librarians, in addition to all of the extracurricular activities. Those are completely supported by the levy.
Levy dollars are an important piece of the funding for our local schools, providing almost 25% of the total Spokane Public Schools annual budget. In fact, over 90 cents of every levy dollar supports education programs, operations, and extracurricular activities, teachers and school support staff that students come into contact with every day, such as counselors, librarians, and custodians, specialists who keep our schools safe and well-maintained so that educators can do their important work.
We don't do this in isolation. I can't get through my day without the other professionals that work alongside me, be it our special education teachers, our English language learner teachers, the IAs, the instructional assistants that support our students and help deliver the instruction that we provide for them.
It helps us keep class size small. That was a message we heard from families across our district very loud and clear this year when we were having discussions about budget and where to trim and where not to trim. And overwhelmingly, citizens across our community said, do not increase class size.
You know, obviously as a general education classroom teacher, that for me is my primary issue, is the number of students in my classroom.
As a parent, you want your child to be well educated, get the best education that they possibly can, and if our class sizes get bigger, it's harder for that teacher to really give that attention that our children need.
Recognizing the district's commitment to transparent financial reporting, the Government Finance Officers Association recently recognized Spokane Public Schools with a Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 8th year in a row. The current state budget has made forecasting the estimated levy rate even more challenging for the school board and district administration. Due to this uncertainty, the school board has set the 2012 levy renewal amount to provide stable funding for current programs and services offered to the district's 29,000 plus students. So what is the cost of this levy renewal to homeowners? Assuming a 65% loss of state levy equalization funding, the estimated levy rate per $1,000 of assessed value will vary between $4.49 in 2013 to an estimated levy rate of $4.44 in 2015.
Well, I think that everyone is invested in the schools because of its importance to the local economy. And I think if we're in this community and we want to have good roads and we want to have effective services by local government, we want to see jobs for our kids when they get out of school or our grandkids when they get out of school, then we all have to be in this together.
Thanks to the past public support of education, Spokane was recently selected for the 5th year in a row as one of the 100 best communities for youth, as well as #1 for education by Parenting Magazine. The upcoming levy will help pay for many of the programs and levels of services currently available to Spokane Public School students.
I've gone through the Spokane Public Schools and gotten a great education, and it's prepared me for my life.
Please remember to vote and have your ballot postmarked by February 14th.
We've all owned the success of our education system because it is part of what is necessary and essential and frankly wonderful about our future, is how this is the future another 15 years from now. We can't step away from that.
So the deadline for registering to vote is January 16th for this February 14th levy. And folks actually have until February 6th if they wanted to literally walk into the county elections office. But yes, Director Trapiti, you were saying earlier that folks wanted to get lined up with a presentation, an informational presentation, they could certainly check in with the district.
Absolutely. The video that was just shown just hits the tip of the iceberg. There's much more information that's available that can be provided by the district, by the board, by a citizens committee. And we'd be more than happy to come to any organization or office place or wherever if folks have questions or would like some more information about the campaign.
All right.
And I think in that presentation, what we do is we share with the community what it is that the levy goes for, what we spend the $73 million on, so our community understands how those dollars are spent and what kinds of programs they provide. So that's helpful information, I think, as people look at that for the February 14th ballot.
Yeah, and one point I'd just like to make at the beginning too is, even though the levy amount is in the low 70s, we don't really know whether we actually need all that. That depends on whether the legislature cuts levy equalization, which to us is $13 million a year, over $13 million a year. If we're planning for the possibility that it could be cut up to 65%, and the governor's proposal for this year would have it cut 50%, and so therefore that's the reason that we needed to do that. If in fact this session of the legislature that just started the other day ends without those cuts, then the amount of our levy would actually be a lot less, basically what it is for the current year.
Almost the same as
Yeah.
current year. So.
Right, and we're doing a levy for the next 3 years, 2013, 2014, and 2015. So that's really a challenge for the board to try to figure what it's going to be the next 3 years. And so while the governor's talking now about a 50% reduction to levy equalization, LEA, who knows what the next year, the second year and the third year will bring. So it was a guess at 65%, but it was an informed guess, I think, about what could still happen.
Yeah, at this time it's hard to read the governor and legislature 3 months out, let alone 3 years out, which is what we're challenged with doing.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, we actually had a question come in a couple weeks ago, and so we will go to that question now. And I think it kind of aligns with what you were just talking about, so you may want to give some more explanation to the LEA on this. But if your enrollment is declining every year, then why are you asking for more money? Roger sent that email.
Okay, I mean, I'll start on that. Our budget, first off, our overall budget for 2011-12 is actually less than our budget for 2010-11. So overall, our amount of money is lower, and some of our costs are increasing. Anything other than salaries basically is increasing. Salaries, though, we did take, most people took various amounts of cuts this year. So that's one thing. But the reason that the levy amount would increase is, just as we were saying a second ago, that all depends on whether levy equalization is going to be cut. And so our funding from the state has definitely gone down. The amount that we're therefore need to obtain from the levy's gone up. So it went up from, say, 15% to, I think it's 23% when you count the levy equalization, but getting close to 25%. And that could in fact, we could in fact be looking for a large, if levy equalization is eliminated, then that 23% needs to come from the local levy as opposed to being shared between local levy and levy equalization funds that come from the state.
That's a good way to
I think that's the biggest part of it, is where the amount on the ballot for the 2013 year is $71.5 million. That's a big number. But in the past, as you were talking about those LEA funds that we've received from the state to help subsidize the local levy and not require as much of the local taxpayers, we're planning for a possible 67% reduction. That's $9 million. So if that $9 million wasn't on the ballot amount, we'd be down at $62.5 million, which is still a big number, but it's right about the same as what the existing number is now. So the majority of that extra request in the levy this year compared to prior years has to do with a concern about whether the state's going to come through with the funding they've been coming through with.
And that amount on the ballot will not provide additional or new revenue for Spokane Public Schools. We won't be getting any more money. We're just worried that the state won't give us what they've traditionally given us, and so we're going to the community for that piece.
That's a really
Part
good
of
point, I think, to make and to be clear about, too, is that we're talking about the levy dollars here, and that is 25% of our budget. What we're asking for is money to hopefully keep that 25% of the budget pie whole,
Right.
not increase it, but keep it at where it is. That's not talking about the other 3/4 of that budget pie that comes from the state and federal dollars, where we're expecting to see likely reductions there as well. And so even with the levy fully funded and keeping those programs in place, we're still going to be under budgetary pressures because of that other 3/4 of the pie and what we see happen from the state.
Okay, we have had another question, this one from Brad. What effect might the legislature's special session have on the district's budget?
There you go. The legislature gets to affect the whole pie in some
That's
ways
right.
because they can affect what we'll see from levy because of the levy equalization program that they are talking about changing, and they can have direct effects on that other 3/4 of the pie as well.
I think the only thing that's certain is that it will be a negative effect. Seriously,
be
I mean,
cuts, yeah.
there will be cuts. They are going into session to reduce the overall state budget, including education. So we don't know the specifics. We just have to prepare for the worst.
And the basic education, what the state calls basic education, is protected. But there's so many things that I think our community and people in general believe are basic education that aren't protected. And so the types of things you could see the state legislature affect over this special session and later ones, all-day kindergarten, highly capable funding,
Some
things.
of our programs aren't.
And it turns out transportation even has been on the table now. So things that I think people really do think of as basic education, we could see changes in the funding we're receiving to provide those services.
All right. And now moving away from that just a bit, we've had a caller ask, what kind of curriculum is occurring for 4th through 12th grade, in 4th through 12th grades, preparing students for STEM? That's science, technology, engineering, and math.
Well, I think that one of the things we're doing right now is we are trying to assess what's going on in our schools around preparing students for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We've been really intentional at making sure that at the middle school level, we've provided some additional opportunities for our students to begin what we call a STEM math sequence a little earlier, so that they begin algebra in 7th grade now, and then geometry in 8th grade, and then algebra 2 9th grade, and then they can prepare for that pre-calculus, calculus, AP statistics, and take those courses that will better prepare them certainly in mathematics as they move forward. And then we've got some courses that our students are taking in biomedicine, a program called Project Lead the Way in all of our high schools except North Central, and then a pretty exciting program at North Central called the Institute for Science and Technology that engages students in genomic research as part of their senior projects. And
I appreciate the way the question was framed, because it's starting in 4th grade to make sure that kids they have the proper foundation for what they need to learn as they get into high school in preparation for college. And part of our emphasis over the last few years on middle school is to make sure that parents and children are thinking while they're in elementary school, 5th and 6th grade, about making sure they're going to be prepared to do what they need to do in middle school so that they've got the algebraic foundation to move ahead in math in high school. So it's important to think the way that question pointed out.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question, and something we definitely need to focus on. And it really harks back to the start of the show where we talked about this end goal of college and career ready. What we as the district have to do is make sure that we've identified what are the skills that students who want STEM career options as future possibilities, what do we need to make sure they have and have had by the time they leave our district, and then backtrack from there, as you were saying, back from 12th grade through 10th to 8th to 6th to 4th, have that clearly articulated path. And more than just having that path there, we got to be really good about communicating to families just what that path looks like, when they should be looking at having kids starting that path, so that we don't have students in our system that are having doors closed just because they didn't know that a door was closing. So it does backtrack further and further, and being clear about what that looks like and trying to get that information to families is another part of that. So not just having the courses there and having them developed well, but getting that information to families.
And I would say that although both math and science are definitely the two areas where in our district and statewide the most improvement is needed, and we have we have lower passage rates on standardized tests than in the literacy areas. Our district this last year did quite well as far as improvement in science and outpaced the state on science at pretty much every grade level. And then in the math, we actually made more progress there too. I think that's and I think that's a function of the focus that we've put on both those topics the last couple of years in the work plan. And for specifically what curriculum we're using for the algebra, geometry, algebra 2 sequence, we've got Holt. We just implemented at the middle school level a couple of additional supplemental materials this year that go into effect this year to improve the pre-algebra skills. We've got over 40% of our 8th graders taking algebra. We've got algebra classrooms in 7th grade at, I think, all the middle schools, or maybe all but one. And those are things that just weren't existing 4 or 5 years ago. And then at the elementary level, we've instituted a number of math labs, basically one per every 3 schools for teachers to rotate through and see how they're and observe high quality teaching, best practices in teaching. So that, I think all those things have worked to improve the achievement levels at starting in the elementary level on up through. And we are probably not going to do a major curricular change for K through 8 until the Common Core standards are implemented, which is going to be in about another 2 to 3 years. And the reason for that was just it's so expensive to do it for one set of standards and then have to change it. So.
All right, good. All right, we have our next question that came in via email. How much of the Spokane Public Schools budget is mandated and how much is discretionary? And that was sent in by Mike.
I'm not really sure what that means.
Well, when it comes to, one way of looking at that, I guess, is, so how much of our budget is actually spent on discretionary items? And it's a very, very small percentage. We don't, we wish we had much more discretion about how we could apply $300 million across the district for our 29,000 students. In fact, last night we went through, at the board meeting, a revised process for crafting the annual budget so that we can prioritize. So where do we need to spend, how do we shift how the money's been spent in prior years? Are we kind of locked in that way? Or how do we, whether it's all-day kindergarten, whether it's additional, programs in elementary school to provide a stronger foundation, whether it's more support for middle school students, et cetera. It's a big struggle to try to find the discretionary funds to craft the programs that we need for our students.
And even the levy now is being used to pay for some of the mandated programs, like special education, our English language learning program. Those are required by state and federal law, and they should be fully funded by the state and federal government, but they aren't. So our levy now is picking up some of the cost of those mandated programs.
Right. I'm sure many of the listeners remember Dr. Livingston, Gary Livingston, when he was superintendent. I can still remember him saying, gosh, we're almost going to be spending $1 million a year out of our levy on special education. And we're way past that. And that's a direct cost that is, by law, should be paid by the state and the federal government, not by levy dollars.
All right. We just have a few minutes left, so we want to get on to the next questions. Cindy emailed this question today. When will Glover Middle School be remodeled?
Well, we're just working right now on the 2009 bond, the next bond that would come before, and Glover's not part of that bond package. So the next bond that would come as part of the 25-year plan, the voters would be voting on that in 2015, and we don't know. We know we will have some middle schools on that project, but we don't know which middle schools.
On
We
the
have
current,
Salk.
yeah, the
We'll
current
have-
bond cycle, we have the Salk Gymnasium, and then some planning for overall middle school configuration and the
Right.
type of middle schools that we would need, but I don't think we have any other middle school big
Identified.
projects on this current.
What Jeff just referred to is what I was thinking of, which is regardless which of the middle schools, it's really how Salk is planned, and we're going to see how things work with Salk, and then apply what we learned from there with the other middle schools, probably in the next bond cycle.
Let's talk just a little bit about the current projects. Westview is certainly, we're well into that, and it's going to be done here, and the end of, I had a
It'll
note
actually
here.
open in the fall of 2012.
Westview's going to be a busy site for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And Jefferson will start here pretty soon, and that will be our next elementary.
Right, and we're selecting the architect for the Salk
For Salk next.
Gymnasium next week, right?
Okay.
We'll go through the process and then probably get it to the board, the middle of December?
All right.
Ferris will be completing this summer phase 1 of a 3-phase project there. It's pretty
Okay.
impressive as you see it coming out of the ground now. And then there are some later schools, Hutton and Finch.
I was going to say, my daughter and son-in-law are wondering when Finch will be on the list.
Vested interest, right?
All right, so we have one more question. We want to get that in before we're done with the show. How does the cost per student in Spokane Public Schools compare to other districts like Meade or the Seattle area? And Mark sent that in.
It's the thing that makes a variation in cost per student typically is whether you have Title I money coming in, which comes in from the federal government,
And size of your maybe special ed population.
and the size of your special ed. Those are the two things that get additional money from either the state, which is special ed, or federal government, which is Title I. And so with us having more special ed, a little bit higher special ed population than most of the other districts, and definitely more Title I schools.
And Title I is a kind of a measure of low income.
Yeah. So basically, if you have 70% free and reduced lunch, then you're in Title I. And if you are a little bit less than that, then you get extra money from the state too. So those are the things that would drive the cost up. So we'd be basically the same but for those things, which are benefits, I suppose.
And in addition, we're one of the few school districts that operates a television station. And even though the Friends of KSBS do all the fundraising for the vast majority of those funds, they still come into our district and pay those out, so that gets factored in as well.
Yeah, so basically that doesn't really, it looks like it raises the cost per student, but it's not really an
Not
increased
real.
cost.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you
Real
look at
money.
those tables,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All
It's
right,
part
well,
of that.
believe it or not, we are already out of time. This year's half-hour format is moving us right along, and want to thank you gentlemen for being here tonight, and thank our viewers and callers for checking in with us as well tonight. Your support is more important than ever, and we really do appreciate you. Thank you. Good night.